I find the example you gave very intriguing. I'll be honest, I didn't think about it. So that's a very intriguing thought you had. So I want to see where you take it. Although I'm already disagreeing.
Disagree or you?
Okay, look, we'll dive straight in today. Okay, our big question for the day is love actually blind? All right, and that's gonna take us to all discussions towards love and society outlook on it, and etc., etc., etc. So that will be interesting. But before we delve into that, I want to just get your brain juices flowing a little bit, get you thinking, so that when it comes to the big question, you're actually ticking along with us. So, Fatsani, over to you.
Over to me. Hello. So I've got the Am I an Asshat this week. Okay, so this one's from memory.
Oh wow, okay. Dedication. I like it. No, really, carry on. Yeah.
And this one's interesting because this one actually happened to me. And as I was driving off, I was like, hold on.
So are you the one asking, am I
an Asshat?
Wow, okay. Stepping up now.
I really drove off. I was like, hold on. Am I?
Okay, fine.
So, obviously, sometimes when I'm at work, I leave to go do visits, yada, yada, yada. And this was about 2 p.m. So the roads aren't extremely busy. So I pull out from where I work onto the main road, and there's a car like just pulled over in a really odd spot, hazarding. And there's a guy stand out, like the person has just flung the door open, and you can see that they're physically being sick onto the floor. So I passed him the first time, and I didn't stop. And my rationale was, firstly, no one else is stopping.
Right.
Secondly,
right.
I'm a female. I have no idea what the situation is. Do I just stop and help this really, really random man out? So that's the first time I passed this guy.
Okay.
But obviously, the direction I was going, this dual carriageway, you go one way, and if you want to go the other way, you need to go to the roundabout, turn around, and go the opposite way.
Yeah.
So obviously, I get to the roundabout because I need to go in the other direction. So I passed him a second time, and this guy really, really, really looks unwell. But everybody's like slowing down, looking at him, and then just driving off. Now I'm battling, I'm fighting. I'm like, do I stop? Do I not stop? Another thing was, if I do stop, where do I stop? Because it's a dual carriageway, there's actually nowhere to stop. Do I like go find somewhere to park and then run back and check if he's okay? But then there's still that like voice inside of me. You stop and then what? What if he kidnaps you? I know it sounds really, really extreme. So, am I an asshat for one, going with the crowd and not stopping because no one else is stopping? And for just generally not being a good human being and helping this guy who clearly was unwell. But then again, I didn't know why he was throwing up. Was he on drugs? Is that why you're throwing? See, I don't know if that was past my head, but my initial question was, am I a bad person for not stopping, at least just to make sure this guy is okay, or just for slowing down, rolling my window down and saying, you okay? Do you need any help? Am I a bad person? And I think the worst part is I passed him twice. So I had 2 opportunities to stop.
Was this you? I really should stop. I really should stop. I really should stop. I'm gonna stop. Oh, I'm home.
Yep.
I can't stop anymore.
But I kept thinking about that man all day. I was like, I wonder what is going on.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
It is. It really, really is.
Are you a bad person? No. Are you a good person? No. Yeah. Listen to the situation. I think stopping would have been the
Christian thing to do.
The Christian thing to do, but also the sometimes something happens in life and someone acts a certain way, and you're like, you know what? Faith restored in humanity kind of moment. I think stopping would have been that kind of level. I don't think Yeah. So I think stopping would have been a good thing to do and an outstanding thing to do on that day. I don't think it's a stopping is like the benchmark for whether you're a good person or not. Especially in this day and age, everybody minds their own business. You see someone throwing up on the street, that's their problem. That's not my problem. Because we don't really live in communities like that anymore. Everyone is about their own business. But to answer the question, were you the asshat in that situation? Come back to me after Pronik.
You want Pronik to throw himself in first and then you just jump on top of him after?
Are you the asshat for not stopping? I'm gonna say yes, you are. Yeah, I'm gonna say yes, you are.
Mince your words, Pronik. Small.
Well, but the problem is, like what Chino's saying, for me, yes, you are asshat, but this is an asshat. But this is a wider societal problem, right? Because the questions you are asking yourself, those are unfortunately legit questions, right? You don't know whether that person is a good person or not. What if they actually do something bad to you whilst you're trying to help? That's actually a fair question. Of course, the person is throwing up. It's in a public area, a busy area. I mean, they would have to be really good to kidnap you without anybody seeing, But these are the kind of questions that unfortunately the world is finding itself having to ask when they need to do something. And that's why when people do actually do the smallest of humane thing, people notice. You see what I mean? Because unfortunately, we're no longer living in a world where the Good Samaritan is an everyday thing. Because there are so many dangers out there. We are all busy. Plus, we have so many justifications. I've been in places where, no offense, I'm not racist, but get into an accident. British people don't care where it is. Yeah, it could be the busiest of the busiest. They will leave their cars there. They need to sort out their insurance, right? It doesn't matter where it is, and you'll be like, why is there so much traffic? You'll find two cars have had a collision that has left a singular line on one of the cars, and they are there discussing it out, not giving a monkey's problems about the traffic. I'm like, you could literally move your vehicles to the side and discuss what you need to discuss, right? But no, we're going to leave the cars where they are. Why am I saying that? My point is, even if it was a busy place, you could have stopped. There's a man's health could be at risk. It's a health thing, I think, not a medical thing. Sorry, a medical thing.
But then it kind of begs the question. As you're saying, okay, she stops. Then what?
Again, we've seen this so many times. Are you okay? Are you gonna be okay? Can I call the ambulance? Sometimes it's just
because the guy's throwing up.
But that's the thing. You don't know why he's throwing up. I mean, the thing is that it crossed her mind in the first place. For me, that's the starting point. Yeah. If it's crossed your mind, you as a person, you've observed something. Yeah.
But I feel like I didn't. If I reflect back honestly, I feel like I didn't stop because it was a man. I feel like if it was if it was a woman, I wouldn't have asked myself that many questions. I think my instinct would have been to stop and see if she was okay.
Yeah, I really don't know how I feel about that. I think for me, that's okay. I feel like that's okay. To be honest with you, I do want to come on to that, say that he's a man and that. I don't like. I feel like that's okay. I feel like she's justified.
I guess the other thing that went into my head
because she's a woman.
No, but okay, the issue with women, right, is that they spend their downtime and free time watching serial killers and rapists and the worst of humanities. That's what they do in their downtime.
Not all women do that.
A huge proportion of women do. Literally, every single woman I work with in my office loves true crime drama.
Yeah, it does.
And so once you leave the office,
the
crimes around the corner. He could be a serial killer.
Exactly.
He could beat
That's
me
what
up.
happens because
he could do that.
What if I'm his type?
It does force you to have a certain outlook on the world. All of a sudden, every single man is a threat. And I'm not saying it's not good to have that threat sense, but I feel like it's too hyped in women because they enjoy indulging in the worst of humanity.
But then do you know the other thing that
that's what you're gonna feel. Do you know the other thing
that I thought that also didn't make me stop was the fact that this guy is being physically sick and he's in distress and no one is stopping. if I stop and help him, and now he's attacking me, I don't think these people are going to stop. That was genuine thought.
I feel
if they're not stopping for somewhat of a medical issue, are they going to stop to help me if I stop to help this man and something goes wrong?
For me, my consideration is whether you're an asshat for not stopping. If the sole reason is because he was a man, I would be more inclined to lean towards, you were the asshat in the situation.
It wasn't the sole reason.
But also, the thing is, I understand what you're saying, and I feel like a lot of women these days have that similar outlook. And for me, the issue is that's because they spend too much time, for lack of a better word, admiring the worst in humans, and therefore you see threats where there shouldn't be any. Okay, let's say you stop, for example. Let's say you are cautious that actually this could turn sour, right? Even though you can see that he's being physically sick, you stand at a distance.
What if he throws up on me?
Sorry, excuse me, sir. Are you okay? I can see that you're throwing up. If you feel like you need to keep you can keep a distance.
Keep your phone in your hands with 999 dialed.
You know, or you can even go like, I've got 999. Do you want me to call the ambulance? My point is,
I've got a bottle of water. Do you want to come to my car?
Wow.
No. The point is, right? I don't want to say normal circumstances, because yes, men are bigger in stature, whatever. They commit more violence towards women. But in the scenario you described,
That
him being a threat did not cross my mind until you said, I feel like the only reason I didn't stop is because he was a man. You know, what if he kept...
No, I think it was the biggest reason I didn't stop. Obviously,
of course. But that's the thing. When you described that scenario to me, my first thing wasn't, this guy's a threat, watch out. It was the guy's in distress.
But then I suppose, do men have to think about that though? That's the other bit, because
men do risk assessments all the time, everywhere. We're constantly doing risk assessments.
Everybody is, but when you see a situation like that, as a man, part of your risk assessment is it your safety? No, not really. I don't think men...
Yeah.
Is he bigger than me? Is he stronger than me? Is he taller than me? Can I survive a punch from him?
Risk assessments are always about threat.
Did either of you guys see that video? The guy that was having road rage went out of his car.
You mean the video I showed you?
Yeah, to fight the other guy, and the other guy was much bigger than him. He got back in his car and drove off. He's big, and just drove off.
Well done, my G. No, yeah, he's very right. We do have to do those kind of risk assessments, and sometimes they're done instantly. You don't even know.
I feel like for most men, it's an automatic setting in their DNA. We're always constantly doing risk assessments. We're constantly always being aware of your surroundings. Even if something is kicking off, you see, okay, if something is to happen here, I'm gonna go for that guy, not that guy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move like this, because I just feel like for most guys, it's an automatic inbuilt factory setting.
And how can I escape this place? If something was to kick off, I can fight.
Yeah.
So you already know where the exits are.
Anyway.
Yes.
But I feel like that's when you've put yourselves in that situation. That's when you risk assess. I think when the situation just presents itself.
Okay, so can I give you one example? And then we'll have to answer the am I an asshat? And then we're going to have to move on, right? But the one example, I'll give an example. We were driving back from somewhere, I can't remember where. It was late. We're talking about 2, 3 a.m., right? 2, 3 a.m.
I remember where we were driving
and we saw a guy, we just saw a light, coming from the side of the road. And obviously, when we got closer, we saw a guy was like bleeding. And then we spotted a car in a ditch. So obviously, already we can sort of figure out what's happened, right? There's a car accident, whatever. He's looking for help. In that moment, I had to do a risk assessment. I had to consider, okay, what if it's a trap? What if there are other people, whatever. I did all my risk assessments, and I was like, okay, fine, let's stop. But in that moment, I didn't stop just because, he's in help, let's stop. No. Assessments were done.
Deed of the day. At freaking 3 a.m.
Assessments were done, and on the balance of probability in that situation, I was like, you know what? He's in need of help. And therefore we stopped. But so if you remember, even when he came to our car and was saying, just because obviously he was scared he would get in trouble with the police or whatnot. So it's like, just take me to this place, I'll give you money or whatever. If you remember, the windows were up. We only cracked them this open. I didn't lower them any lower than that. Again, assessing the situation,
Just in case.
making sure you're doing what you do, but being safe at the same time. And I feel like that's just
So if I was by myself and didn't stop, would I be an asshat?
where at that night.
Yeah.
No, hell no. What's wrong with you?
What's the difference?
No, because if you did a fair risk assessment, your result should have been keep driving.
And
So the
call
risk
and call
assessment I
and
did
call the
that-
And
police.
call the police and say this is what
I've
I've just
just
said.
seen
The
a
risk
guy.
assessment
Yeah.
I saw was not fair assessment.
Sorry?
The other incident I saw was not fair assessment.
I don't think so. It was in the middle of the day.
It was a busy area. Yeah.
And okay. So let's get back to the question then. So the scenario is given. Thank you, Fatsani. That's a first-hand experience. I like that.
Yeah.
Pro Nick, was Fatsani and Asshat in that scenario? Yes or no?
I'm gonna say yes, but don't feel some type of way. It's not a you problem.
No, I'm feeling it.
No. It's just it's a yes because unfortunately that's the society. That's what we've come to. Unfortunately, it's dangerous out there. It's a jungle out there, you know. But based on our views, should you have stopped and helped somebody be a good Samaritan? Yes, you should have. You didn't. Twice. Yes, you are.
I feel like I should have printed a little bag. This was my asshat.
Okay, well, to be honest with you, it's a tough one for me because I do get where you're coming from. I'm gonna say no. The reason I'm gonna say no is because
He's your wife.
no. The reason I'm gonna
He goes home and then you are
So I'm an asshat, eh?
no. I'm gonna say no. The reason I'm gonna say no is because, like I said at the beginning, for me to deem someone an asshat is they're either doing something or not doing something that's easily expected. Right? It's like, okay, you should have done this, or you should do this, or you should think that, therefore you're an asshat. In that scenario, I think the normal thing to do was to drive by, keep minding your own business.
Wow.
The Christian thing to do, or the outstanding thing to do, yes, would have been to stop and say, my guy, are you okay? But if the question is, am I an asshat for this? No, I don't think so.
But it would be a yes based on the Christian and outstanding. thing
Yes,
to do.
yeah.
Okay, I can accept
But
that.
I guess Fatsani, to finish
You're
off.
not an asshat, but you're not a Christian.
Pretty much. No. You're not an asshat, but you're a very bad Christian.
But to finish off, Fatsani, you've reflected on it. Do you think you're the asshat in that situation?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think
like that, yeah.
I think the reason I reflected on it was it's very easy for society to corrupt what we know to be good and true. And I think that's the part that I was disappointed in myself about, that I had a genuine concern for somebody. Yes, obviously that doesn't mean everybody I see, regardless of where we are, I stop and I'm like, are you okay? Because yes, I do have to make sure that I'm safe. Like, we've had conversations here to say people sometimes really put themselves in stupid situations. But yeah, I think it is really easy for our self-fears, our doubts in society to really corrupt what we know to be good and true. Because like you said, I could have slowed down and rolled my window down to say, are you okay? If he says, yeah, I'm okay, just a bad stomach, I'll be all right, carry on driving. That's absolutely, whether he was telling the truth or not, that's not for me to decide. That's the answer he's given me. So.
Okay, fair enough. Well, yes, and hesitant.
Oh, no, I didn't say I'm an asshat.
Yes, you did. You did.
No.
Yeah, you said upon reflection, yes. yes, hesitant, no. But ladies and gents, let us know what you think. Don't make it too personal, but do you think Fatsani is
This will be the one time we get the most comments.
yes. Okay, fine.
So while you're still here, guys, just want to say a massive thank you for staying and for listening. Please like and subscribe, and we hope you're enjoying the conversation. Please put your thoughts in the comments because we would love to hear your views.
Oh, I know, ladies and gents, let's go straight into our big question, because I'm very intrigued about today's big question. Okay.
Wow.
So, bit of context then for those who may or may not know. Not recently, I think it's season 5 of the show called Love is Blind has recently aired. Now, for those that don't know the concept of the show, Love is Blind is a show that, Fatsani watches it, so I guess you can you can break down the show's premise.
In fact, is that not what you were watching just before we started recording?
Yes.
Yeah. So you can give a quick synopsis of the show, please.
So the premise of the show is people talk in these things called pods. They don't see each other, they never meet. All they do is talk through these pods. and they start forming connections based on just talking, sharing emotions, sharing life history, yada yada yada, until a guy proposes to a girl that they've connected with, and the first time they meet is after the proposal. So they meet already engaged, and then they have about a month to live together, meet family, friends, plan their weddings. They get to the altar and they have to decide if they are really getting married and if love is truly blind.
Okay, there you go. So that's the premise of the show. I said it's season 5 now, so evidently it's a hit amongst people. But I had heard that it returned, but then it prompted a question, which is today's big question, which is love really blind? And I like this question because it's multi-layered. So let's start with the first layer, right? So the term love is blind originally was coined to mean that when you're in love with someone, you don't see their faults, right? As far as you're concerned, they can do no wrong. You know, they are the perfect human being, right? So that was the original meaning of the phrase love is blind. You're blind to someone's faults. So, offbeat POV, my first question. With that meaning in mind, is love blind?
No, I don't think so. I think you can't go through a relationship or love and be oblivious to somebody's mistakes or faults. Obviously, faults is a big word, and that's why relationships are all about growing. So if there is something about my partner that I dislike or irritates me, we're going to have that conversation. If I just sweep it under the rug and, I don't see it, it's going to start coming out of me in different ways, whether that's in frustration or anger or silent treatment, whatever it is. I don't think as humans we're very good at seeing something and ignoring it. But in saying that, when you are in love with somebody, when you're in a relationship, you do acknowledge somebody's faults and you work through that.
Okay.
So you work through that to a point where it's almost a clean slate. You know what? You've made a mistake. We've talked about it. That's it. That's done. I'm not going to keep bringing it up. I'm not going to use it against you. That would be, then, I suppose, my definition of the blindness. Does that make sense?
Somewhat.
Why,
Yes.
why are you providing your own definition when he's given us a definition to discuss on?
Oh, sorry, Prone. Now Prone is going to give us 20 definitions of his own.
I think the reason why I was saying that is because I think I understand what you're saying, but then I think the end bit, I think that's where he was saying somewhat, because when you started, I was following. I think I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but then I think it's because you've provided. So it's like you've started at the question, but then you've taken to a different room, basically.
Okay, fine.
Sorry?
Okay, you go then.
Yeah, no.
It's going to take us to a different planet.
Yeah, at least I took us to a different room. To be honest with you, I don't know. The reason I'm saying I don't know as my answer for now is because, like I said, with a bit of what Fatsani said, right? So here's what I think, based on the definition you've given us. I think I'll give an example, right? I think for me, okay.
Hey,
I think I'd say I think, yeah, so let me start with yes. Love is blind in the definition you've given us. Why am I saying that? Okay, there are certain things that irk me, yeah, in general, right? And for me, burping is one of them. Yeah, like when we are eating, you know, and you're there at the table, like burr, burr, burr. It's an thing of mine, to the point where I prefer farts. You can fart whilst I'm eating. Burps just rub me off the wrong way for whatever reason, right? So it's like, you know, with my best friends, for example, when we are eating, I'm constantly like, come on, what are you doing? You see what I mean? It's like, what are you doing? But then my partner burping, it's cute. You see what I mean? It's cute. It's like, it's like, it's not rubbing, it's not giving me that situation, right? So
But
for me,
it's an ick fault. That would be my question.
I
Because
think,
his in the context of his was a fault.
okay, that is a
So I
fair
feel like I
fair
feel like
point.
Something
Yeah.
like that. I don't know
It's a
if
you
that,
problem.
that would, unless you class that as a fault.
Yeah, but then isn't a fault something that okay, wouldn't a fault be something that you classify as a fault in them?
No, not necessarily.
Okay, so give me a
Some
general
faults
fault
are,
then.
are objective. Let's say someone has anger issues.
So every time you argue, they're shouting, they're throwing things.
Then yeah,
Or,
okay,
Are
fine.
you gonna
not
put
even
that
that,
into
they
that?
just have anger issues. Like
Yeah, then
you're just an angry
my answer
person.
would still be yes for now, right? Now the reason I'm saying yes, it's the same concept for me, right? If you love somebody, I don't think for me it's about you not realizing that they have anger issues. But for me, it's a tolerance level and the patience that one has towards that.
But that's not blindness.
Right.
Because blindness would be literally being oblivious. Not oblivious means you don't know, but you know they have
Oblivious,
anger
yeah.
issues, but you're choosing to gloss over it. You're being blind to their anger issues. So you've acknowledged they have anger issues, but you're
No.
choosing
So if you acknowledge they have anger issues, then it's no longer the blindness.
not
That,
to them,
Exactly.
to yourself. You've acknowledged yourself that they have anger issues.
No. But that's what I'm saying.
think they
that-
mean-
that-
yeah,
that-
I think the definition
the love is
implies-
blind says that you fail to see their faults. So
Yeah.
I'll give you some examples in phrases that were given, right? So it's a typical example. Someone can say, "Oh, so and so is so in love with so and so that she overlooks all his bad habits and temper tantrums. Love is blind, and she believes he can change." Or, despite all the warnings from her friends, Priya has fallen in love with Ratchet. Her love is so blind that she agrees with everything he asks for. Apparently, these are examples of.
I think those are hard examples.
What do you mean?
All right, read the first one again.
Okay. I'll just read the names because I think they just made up examples. Manisha is so in love with Jack that she overlooks all his bad habits and temper tantrums. Love is blind, and she believes he can change.
Okay, so she overlooks. So that means that she knows but overlooks them.
I mean, according to that statement, yeah. I guess
And
that
she
is what I would
overlooks
mean.
them because she believes that he can change.
According to that statement.
So
I
it's
guess that's
not
what I
that
would
she
mean.
doesn't know they're there. She knows they're there. She's
Just
just saying
closing
that,
her eyes.
oh, they can change.
Yeah, in
So
that
that's
one,
an
I guess so.
example of
Yeah.
love being blind.
Yeah.
So what are you blind to? The fact that he can never change.
No, the fact that
What's the blindness there?
that the tantrums are an issue that need to be addressed
But it's saying that she believes he can change.
but
without doing anything
Yeah.
about it.
so
That change is just gonna come about. Poof, changed.
so I guess in this scenario given, the blindness would be the overlooking, and the la everything will be okay kind of thing, kind of mentality.
That's hard.
Okay, get back to what you're saying. It's okay. Park that for now. I'll come back to those. Park that for now. I'll get back to what you're saying.
Let's park that. So I was saying that in my opinion, based on the definition you gave us, which was to say, can you repeat the definition, please, just so that the definition you gave us.
When you're in love with someone, you fail to see their faults. That's love is blind.
You fail to see their faults.
Yeah.
That's not what you said the first time.
That's exactly what I said the first time. That's what the definition is. That's where the phrase came from. The definition was that when you're in love with someone, you fail to see their faults. Therefore, people describe it as love is blind. Blind to their faults, I guess, would be the meaning of it.
You might have to do a lot of editing. This week, I feel like I'm all over. I feel like I'm about to change my mind again.
If you want to gather your thoughts, you can gather your thoughts.
Yeah. Okay. Because obviously you told us that based on this definition, because there are levels we need to go to.
Yeah.
Right. So sticking on that definition, say that love is blind, that you fail to see someone's faults. And you're asking us, is love actually blind? Then my answer would be no. You know, loving somebody doesn't mean that you fail to see their faults. Yeah. Loving somebody means that you are a lot more patient and tolerant and willing to work with someone else's faults. Because it's not on day one that everything is discovered. You see what I mean? It's not you meet someone today, you're on the first dinner, and then they tell you that, oh yeah, by the way, I fart in my sleep. Oh, by the way, I have anger issues. Oh, by the way, I tend to avoid situations. Oh, I don't like talking. There's so many things that you may not know about that person. Yeah, there's so many things that you become to know about certain things. But the more you interact with this person, the more you see them, the more your feelings are getting deeper and deeper, to the point where you end up loving somebody. And that means, because relationships are work, yeah, so you eventually find yourself in a situation where you have to work out something. I love you, but this anger issues is a problem. You see what I mean? So you're a lot more patient and tolerant towards somebody, and you acknowledge that, okay, yes, this is a problem, but can we do something about it? Your first response isn't, I'm walking away. Why? Because you love somebody. Whereas with a friend, for example, an acquaintance, you can be like, you know what? I don't need all this energy. I don't need to be in this space. I'm gone. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
So yeah, so that's what I'm saying. That I think based on that, my answer would be no. Love is not blind. You shouldn't pretend, that if someone you're noticing someone's, let's say, aggressive tendencies, and you're like, oh no. Like, no. If you can't love somebody who over time has started showing you certain tendencies that are not okay. Yeah. And you pick those up, you pick those up. You're like, that's not okay. I love this person, but I really don't like it when they make me feel, let's say, every time they get angry, it's as if they're about to burn the house,
Okay, all right. So
you get me?
So in the scenarios that have been given, and I guess there's countless of other scenarios where someone is in a relationship, and because in their mind or in other people's minds, they love the person so much that they fail to see their faults, or they're oblivious to them. Can we say they're blind to their faults because they're so in love with the person?
Yeah, it happens. It happens. And I think a part of it is there's a lot of reasons people get blind to their partner's faults.
Like?
Length of time people have been together. I know there's a big fear out there for, let's say, if somebody has been together with somebody, let's say, I don't know, 8 years. But it's been 8 years. You've taken up 8 years of my life. If I leave, what am I doing?
But that's not an example of being blind to someone's fault. That's just an example of
Giving excuses.
or not having the courage to leave. I'm talking about someone who... So I'm talking about in a scenario where someone is blind to someone's faults. Can we, as outsiders or as a panel, say, yes, Mary is blind to Ben's faults because Mary is so in love with Ben?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, we've seen situations like that. And I think in situations like that as well, it's so hard to convince the person that's in love of those faults. You can have the best intentions, but when it comes to someone that's in love, they need to see that for themselves. Because if they don't see that for themselves, it comes across like either you're attacking their other half, you're attacking their relationship. And it's frustrating because sometimes to the bystander, it's so obvious, like, or at least it comes across so obvious. But as the person that's in love, you don't see that because you're in love. And that, that saying, you've put on your rose-colored glasses.
Yeah.
That's what they see. And I suppose for some people as well, depending on their personality characteristics, then that becomes a defense mechanism, because for them it's like you're attacking them now. So they need to... It's no longer even about them hearing what you're saying about their partner or whatever. It's, I need to defend my territory. You're attacking my territory and I need to defend it even before they've really taken in what you're saying.
I mean, you are... Oh, sorry. You are right in that, yeah, it does happen and we have seen it, but I gave it good thought and I don't know if I would label it as love, though. The best that I think I can label it is infatuation. Yeah, well, I think someone can be so infatuated with someone.
So infatuation is blind.
That, well, I mean, infatuation in itself is dumb. Not dumb as in not dumb as in an idea, but dumb as in infatuation in itself. Sort of it's like you're on drugs. Right, so
it wears out.
So already it's a state that's a manipulated state. That's not a normal state. So I think that's the best. I think that's the best I can describe it, to say that if you have someone who is so blind to someone's faults that I guess are so obvious to everyone else around them, I'll say it's because they're so infatuated with the person. I don't think if I can say it's because they're so in love with the person. Because does love cause you to lose your senses?
No, even
I don't think so.
But infatuation does.
Infatuation can, yeah. I think so, because infatuation is it's like a it's like a dopamine hit, and you're just like everything is just in movies
You're
when
in La La Land.
yeah, exactly, movies when it happens and they're like everything turns into roses and people are flying and whatnot.
Like when Homer is skipping around places.
but yeah. Anyway, that's what I think. That's why I don't think with the first definition, I don't think I can say love is blind. I think people can call it love, but I don't think it is. Because if we say it is, or remotely close to is, then we have to say that love can or does cause you to lose your senses. And
I think
that's
one idea
I can subscribe to.
I guess maybe this topic needed to start with defining love, because I think first and foremost that's where we've got it wrong in society. We don't think we know what love is. We call a lot of things love that are not love. And it's a very easily used word when really it should be a word that's actually held back a lot. Because the actual meaning of love itself is deep, and what love should be and what love represents is no small feat. So when you've got to that point, it means that you as a person are saying you're working to be love. Does that make sense?
You're working to be love.
So you're embodying what love is. It's not just, I think for society it's a word that we say. It's not a doing word. It's just a word.
Fine. Okay.
But love is a doing word. It comes with a lot of facets. It's not a standalone I love you. When you're saying I love you to somebody, you're pledging yourself to do what love is. Okay. So for example, from a Christian perspective, when you say to somebody, I love you, you are saying, I am going to be patient. I am going to be kind. I'm going to protect. I'm going to be long-suffering. That's what, as a Christian, if you're saying to people, I love you, that's what you're saying. That's what you are pledging. It's not just, I love you, here's a donut. That's not it. There's actually a lot.
The donut. I'll take the donut too.
There's actually a lot of gravity to it, and I think that's the issue, that it's become so watered down that it becomes a simple conversation. But actually, no. When we're talking about love and defining love, is love blind, and deciding what love is, it's a very complex conversation.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I would want to agree with what you were saying about the infatuation thing and things like that, because what you tend to find most of the times, if you take these people that are, so and so is so in love with so and so that they don't see so and so, give it time. Yeah, you give it time. It might be 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Give it time. Eventually, the very same things that people were seeing is what the person starts to see. What does that mean? The drag has worn off. Yeah, you need another fix. You see. So I would agree to say that which is what I would go on to what Fatsani is saying, that what exactly is love when we're talking about love in this society. I love somebody. What exactly is it? Because I feel like for me, I view it as it's like there's a honeymoon phase of being with somebody. Yeah, that you can be so smitten with somebody that you're not seeing certain faults, and for me that's fine, because it's because of that stage that later on you are now able to be patient with somebody and work through them and be able to face certain situations with patience and stuff like that. Because otherwise, if I've met you today on day one, right, and you have anger issues, you've walked into the restaurant that I'm meeting for the first time, you're shouting at the waiters, you're knocking down plates, you sit down, this effing bus driver, I ain't even eating food. I'm not even eating. Waiter, check please. You haven't bought anything. Check please.
And I'll tip you anyway.
You see what I mean? I'm walking away because I don't owe you anything. You see what I mean? I have no feelings towards you. Yeah. I feel like we have to realize that for me, maybe I would say that I don't think there's such a thing as love at first sight. Yeah. You get interested in somebody. There's an attraction, definitely at first sight. Yeah. There's intrigue. There's maybe desire. Something draws you
Lust.
to that person. Lust. 100% lust. Yeah. There's lust there. That gets you to meet that someone, and then you start talking. It is through that conversation now that you the more you get to know them, the deeper that feeling might grow. To be honest with you, 9 out of 10 times in those moments, you're never going to see anything wrong. Yeah, because two people are at their best behaviors at that time. Because you are so interested in one another. It's just, oh my days, he does this. Oh my days, she does this. It's all great. It's all roses. But that's not love. You see what I mean? Because love takes you the mile. You see what I mean? Love takes the distance. So if that's the case, that's why I was saying that. I guess that's why I tripped myself to say that. Well, it is, yes, it's blind in the sense that you work through things. Because in my definition of love, there's no avoiding something. There's just patience in working with that person. But the patience is there in the first place because the feelings are already invested. Does that make sense? You see? So I would agree with you. I don't think when you can't see those things, you can't say that, oh, it's because they are so in love. We can phrase it like that, but I think that's the wrong way to put it. I think he's so smitten, she's so smitten, that he's so infatuated. They're in their honeymoon phase. Yeah? Give him time. It's all right. Give him time. We have time. We have time. Give him time. Everybody wakes up eventually. And then that's when you actually do know whether you love somebody or not. You see, when those things start coming up. And that's why you were saying to Fatsani that I think that's just a lack of courage to live. Because sometimes it's been quite a few months, and you're already pushing 35. You're thinking...
Months?
I'm being generous.
If you can't leave after a few months, then you're doomed.
I'm being generous. You see what I mean? So now that's when it's actually being put to the test now. That, okay, do you actually love this person or not? Because you're right. This conversation is complex because, okay, I'm not going to go there yet because I know we'll come there.
Okay. No, I do like. I do like what you said. I like what you said about how when people are getting to know each other in the initial stages, everyone is on their best behavior, right? So to be fair, 9 times out of 10, there is no faults to see at that stage because no one is displaying them. Yeah. So So to be fair, it's not. I don't think you can even say, oh, you know what? I guess maybe love is blind to begin with, and then eventually maybe its eyes start opening a little bit. There's a Jesus level miracle that happens after a few months. But no, because in the beginning, everyone is on their best behavior. And to be fair, you probably spend time with each other, just here, there, maybe on weekends, maybe every now, whatever, because you're getting to know each other. I think it's when you start spending more time together and then your lives actually start intertwining. That's when, I guess, quote unquote, the faults start appearing or the cracks start appearing, or however you want to phrase it. And at that point, whether you love someone or don't love someone, what do I want to say? At that point, once you see those cracks appearing or those faults appearing, then if you love someone, it's going to determine how maybe it's approached or how it's dealt with, versus if you are just truly infatuated with them and all of a sudden, they burp while they eat. I'm not feeling them anymore. Let me go back on Hinge. That kind of attitude.
And I would add to say that if anybody ever goes on a date and first week or first day, the faults of the other person are clearly being shown, that person doesn't care. Walk away from that relationship.
You think? I think it depends on it. I think it depends what the faults are, or what the other person is claiming as faults. Yes, I think so. Because if it's like, I'll take your one for example. We've already debunked that it's not a fault, but let's say it's a fault, right? Let's say it's a fault.
It's table manners. You don't burp at the table.
Yes, that's fine, but then
it's a fault. It's a big fault.
But then it depends where you come from, because there are families that burp or around the table that they have burping competitions.
Let me ask you this. If
someone is raised in that kind of family, they're never gonna think twice about it.
I can burp the alphabet.
Yeah, I don't doubt you can.
I like how you say that with so much pride. Can I have a point for that? Anyway, I don't want to go too deep into that. But
Into
yeah, fine,
burping?
fair enough. Well, into well, not burping, but that being that being a
No. It was just an example to say that
Yeah.
from your statement to say if they're showing, if the faults are showing in the initial stages. I do agree. It depends what it is.
Okay, fine.
I think it depends what the
I've
fault
got
is.
I've got a good
or
one.
what you're
I've got
deeming as
a
a
good
fault.
example. So you're on a first date with somebody, and they clearly don't have a respect for people who wait upon them. So like when they're talking to the waiters, they're very harsh, they're very hostile. I would class that as a fault. So that's the first date you're seeing that. Are you just? It's just the first date.
No.
What
no.
isn't it by faults? Are we not saying what people deem as, let's say, red flags, so to speak?
Yeah.
Because so the point I was trying to say is that you can have a person who, in their very nature, they don't know that these things are bad, right? So in that case, they won't hide them to begin with because they don't know.
Yeah.
But then that means that you have the opportunity to see those things from the get-go. So you're not even you shouldn't find yourself in a situation, oh, I love them anyway, because you were seeing that from day one. Because they themselves didn't know that, this is not good. Does that make sense? But then there are certain things that we all know. Yeah. That, okay, it's not even about we all know faults. It's just about, like I said, being on your best behavior. Yeah. If you are trying to woo a girl, you'll be texting her every morning, good morning, good night. You're giving a call, random calls, text during the day. You're giving her flowers if you know she likes flowers. So it's like there's no room for them to see anything that's wrong with this guy. As far as they are concerned, you are the knight and shining armor that's come to save them from 35 years of no relationship. You see what I mean? So that's what I mean. So if you are not able to see that in the first place, if it's like, oh, he doesn't text, he hasn't brought me flowers, just an example.
Yeah.
You see, in my opinion, there's already a problem there, because if there's genuine interest and desire and lust and people should be putting out. Does that make sense? People should be there putting out. But let's not get it twisted, people. That's not love.
Fair enough. If you phrase it like that, I don't think I have too many qualms with it. A few qualms, but that's besides the point.
You always have qualms. It's like an impossible thing with you.
Okay, all right, okay, fine. So in the first instance, then, okay, the phrase came into existence, meaning that love is blind. If someone is in love with someone, they don't see their faults, right? I think we probably all agree to say that that's probably not love. More lust, infatuation, intrigue, whatever. But probably not love. Because love does not cower away from faults, or not see anything. I guess it just depends how you deal with them. If you truly love someone, you'd be more patient, long suffering, and whatnot. That's fair enough. I have no issue with that, right? But then, of course, the phrase evolved in its meaning.
Completely.
And I guess which takes us to the concept of this show, which I guess is to mean that love is blind in the sense that it's not about looks, physicalness, whatever. It's about connection, a deep connection, meaningful.
What if I can't connect
discussions.
with your looks?
No, but that's the thing. It's not about physical connection. It's about a mental connection again, a mental, spiritual, soulful connection. I guess it's what is what they're trying to say it is, or experimenting with. Okay, so I guess on that basis, then, with that definition, is love blind?
It can be, but overall, no.
Okay.
Because as much as people can connect on a deeper level, if there isn't that physical attraction, it suffers. Even the show itself, there's been couples where, when they're talking in the pods, you're like, yo, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. They meet in person and they're not quite attracted to each other, and it breaks down very quickly. Because we've got to remember, relationships are a package. So you can't just say we connect. You're not going to sit there and have an intellectual conversation 24/7 or a soulful conversation 24/7. No, there's going to be moments where you need to be physical with each other in a relationship. And for that physicality to take place, there has to be attraction. Anyway, I'm not an expert, but I feel like it's difficult to be intimate and physical with somebody that you're not actually attracted to. again, like I said, I'm not a scientific expert, but I think that's what I've understood of society. That's
I
fine.
like how you and Pronic feel the need to put a disclaimer that you're not experts.
Hey, listen, I don't want anyone
We don't want
quoting
no
me.
rough comments.
I would no.
You know, for me, I had to ask myself a few questions in order to try to answer that. Now, the first question I had to ask myself was, someone who was born blind, does that mean that they can't fall in love? Right? Someone who can't physically see somebody. Does that mean that these
an
blind
interesting
people
question.
that are out there, if they come to me, oh, this is my wife, I love her so much, I'll be like, haha, Jeffrey, no, you don't.
Wow.
How can you love someone you've never seen before? You see what I mean?
But then I suppose it's what Chin always said, that there's usually a rule and there's an exception. No, I think both of you say, especially when it comes to like, let's
an
say
exception.
when you're explaining biblical stuff, a lot of the stuff, there's the rule, this is what happens, but it doesn't
there's
mean
an
they won't
exception,
accept.
yeah.
And that's why my initial answer was yes and no, because I'm not saying that there can't be people out there who fall in love completely, sight unseen, see each other, and that love continues. Because even in the premise of the show we're on about, there are still couples that are going strong 5 years and still going, and they fell in love sight unseen. But I would feel like that love was strengthened by their attraction when they did eventually meet. So I don't know if that means I've contradicted myself.
All right, carry on with what you're
Second-
saying, because I find the example you gave very intriguing. I'll be honest, I didn't think about it. So that's a very intriguing thought you had. So I want to see where you take it. Although I'm already disagreeing.
Disagree all you want. So the second question I had to ask myself is two of two.
You didn't answer that question.
No. I'm gonna.
Okay,
It's
fine,
so
fine.
part of my answer of whether I think love is blind in that context or not.
Okay.
Yeah. And the second question I had to answer was: you meet somebody, sightseeing and everything like that. An accident happens. You know, unfortunately, half of their face has been burned. Yeah. Are you gonna love them half less? Is that gonna impact your love for them? Yeah.
Half
Is that
less.
gonna stop you loving them? You know, they lose an arm in an accident. How is that gonna impact on your love for them? You know. So both of these questions for me has led me to believe that, you know what, there's more to love, like what we're saying. Yeah. There's a deeper meaning to love. Yeah. That for me cannot just stay at sight. Yeah. Cannot just survive at sight. I think for me, in that sense, love is blind. Now, when we talk about looks, right, I think there's so many reasons why we are attracted to people, why we walk to people. I'm at the club, you know, I'm at the bar, I'm at work or whatnot. I see a girl because I have sight, you know, and I have preferences or whatever. Maybe she's dressed well that day, maybe her hair or whatever. But that has attracted the nyashin. Something has attracted me to her because I've seen her. But that's not love. Does that make sense? Something has attracted me to her. I'm gonna approach her. We're gonna start talking. She could be the worst scam on the earth. I could literally do a U-turn. That girl is beautiful, but her character. I don't like the way she talks about people. It means that I have failed to connect. Does that make sense? Like, or maybe I'm a believer. Maybe she's not a believer. Maybe she's a Satanist. Maybe she's too woke for my liking. You know, out here saying it's like I've approached her, but we haven't connected. It's something has stopped us. We are polar opposites. I would never know that until I talk to her, until we go as a level deeper than just seeing. Does that make sense? So for me, I feel like, yes, in that sense, love is blind. Love, I wanted to say it can be, but I want to say that love is blind. The essence of the show, in my opinion, it should work. I think the premise of it should work. It's something as, let's say, arranged marriages, for example, you know, blind dates, for example, you know, you go meet somebody. I don't know if I can add that one because you can see each other. But I feel like the premise of the show should work because what it is that you are connecting on a deeper level on all things important, you know, and the feelings are developed that way. You know, it's like, you know what, I could close my eyes and talk to this girl all day, you know. However, and this is a big however, yeah, can I say that looks are completely and utterly not important? I don't think so. I don't think I can say that, you know. However,
Hey.
however. Really and truly.
because I'm trying to think about it. If I was to spend, I think maybe the length of the time is too short as well. Maybe you spend 6 weeks talking to someone behind their thing, and then you don't like how they look. Of course, that's gonna destroy what you've built. Because I don't think that's enough time for you to have developed the love that's gonna
10 days.
sustain. You swipe 10 days. Come on.
No, but that's 10 days of
I feel like it's still not enough.
quote unquote pure bonding and connection.
I feel like that's still not enough.
It's not like
No distractions.
It's not like what's your favorite color? I mean, obviously maybe in the first 2 minutes, but then in theory they're meant to be proper bonding, talking about the things that matter, and obviously because it's in a confined experiment, it's like pressurized. So those 10 days are probably like equivalent of 4, 5, 6 months in the outside, according to their theory.
According to the theory, I don't know. My answer will still stay for now. Yes, it is blind in that context. I just think there are a lot more nuances to it. I don't think you can. I don't think I say that the premise of the show in theory should work, but unfortunately, that's not how it works. Unfortunately, you can't stick humans in a cubicle and then believe that it's gonna develop that kind of the genuine love. I feel like it's almost what we call this. That's like that's like hybrid. The hybrid chickens and stuff like that. It's almost like natural chicken to hybrid chicken. That's scientific. You're trying to
GMO.
Yeah, You're trying to create a fake love. You know, but in reality, that can work. I've seen relationships where someone is, I would call a 10 out of 10, and other person is scratching a 1. But the love that exists between them,
but
unmerited, and it's like, is that even a word?
But that's from your perspective, right? And that begs another question that maybe I will talk about it later, or maybe it's a whole different discussion itself. I don't know, but we'll come to that, right? But I want to go back to the few things that you said, right? Because I'm firmly on the side that love is not blind. Love is not blind. Love cannot be blind. I think it's I wouldn't say impossible, but I think it's highly unlikely for love to be blind, right? The reason for that is because you already sort of answered that question yourself, to say that you approach someone because you're attracted to them, right? But the only reason you approach them is because you're attracted to them. And that alone gives you the opportunity to develop a meaningful connection with them, and eventually in time fall in love with them. If you're not attracted to them, you're not approaching them, right? So then there can't be any love there because you're not approaching them in the first place. Now, yes, I do agree that you can, let's say, get talking to someone that you don't physically find attractive in the first instance, but you start talking to them, you find out, they're a good person, solid foundations, whatever. And the more you talk to them, the more you get to know them, the more attractive they become. And the more you develop feelings for them. And before you know it, oh, you know what? I really love Emma. I should marry her. But that's still because attractiveness has developed. You've become attracted to them. So physically, they're now attracted to you because you've got to know them.
But they haven't changed, have they?
They haven't changed, no.
Exactly. So what's changed is in you, those feelings.
But the point is, it's not that you can't see their beauty or their attractiveness, or it's not that it's just purely based on a mental connection you've made. Yes, the more you've got to know them, the more they've physically started to appear more attractive to you. And I think that's the power of love.
And vice versa as well, because sometimes you can think you're really into somebody, and you start getting to know them, and they're the prettiest person you've ever met. They're gorgeous. You start getting to know them, and you understand their personality. You're like, you're actually physically quite ugly.
Their looks actually fade. It definitely does happen. But the point I want to make is that I think and I find it interesting that that's the power of love, in that it can actually physically change the way you see someone. But then, now, the point is, if that physical aspect wasn't important, why would love be able to do that?
Because you have eyes to see.
Yes, that's my point.
So okay.
So my point
Bro,
is that
Nick said because you have eyes.
yeah, no. So because if we lived in a world where
Would you have eyes?
no. Listen, if we lived in a world where if you got talking to someone, let's say you didn't initially find them attractive, right? But I don't know, maybe you work with them, whatever, they're your manager, your subordinate, whatever, and you talk to them. And then over time, you're like, oh, you know what, this is a really cool person. I really like this person. I still think they're butters, but you know what? They're a really good person. Let me marry them anyway. Right? That would be different.
That's a HR issue.
No, that's the thing. Then I would be inclined to agree that, you know what, I guess love is blind, right? But the fact is that doesn't happen.
Okay.
Most people fall in love with people that they find attractive, be it instantly or over time.
Yes. To be honest with you, I don't have much to disagree with what you said.
You sound like you're about to disagree.
No, don't you think the fact that in your eyes their looks change, even though they've remained butters, don't you think that's exactly why they say that love is blind?
No, but
because now the looks that the fact that they were ugly, but now they're no longer ugly to you. It's like you're not seeing the fact that they're ugly anymore.
No, you're seeing
You've
the
been
fact
blinded from the fact that they're blind. I mean, they're ugly.
You're seeing the fact that they're now attractive. That's what you're seeing.
Yeah, but the person hasn't
there's
changed.
No blindness. That's my point. There's no blindness.
I think the blindness would be...
there's no blindness because people will say, oh no, you're blind.
That's the definition of love is blind.
No.
You're not seeing what is actually there.
No, okay. Because first and foremost, you have to understand, you labeled them ugly, right? It doesn't mean that this person is objectively ugly, although some people can be objectively ugly. That's a different discussion for another day.
I think we need to talk about those objectively ugly people
I think it is on the
for
list.
the sake of the conversations.
No, what do you mean? How does that?
Because, okay, for example, what I want to say that let's take 7 guys, or 10 guys, and then let's take a certain girl, put the girl there, Let's ask these girls, in their opinion, do you think this girl is ugly or not? Let's say they all say ugly, right? Except one person.
Yeah.
No, all of them say ugly. Yeah, all of them have agreed that this girl is ugly by whatever definition. So, as an experiment, let's say in this little cubicle, this girl is ugly as far as these guys are concerned.
Yeah.
One of them starts talking to this girl, exactly what you've said. Over time, and so on and so forth, and then they develop feelings. And now they're looking at the same girl that they said was ugly, is now no longer ugly. Yeah, they're attracted to that person. She's actually beautiful. Yeah, they're actually seeing certain traits. Oh my days, I never knew your jaw was like, oh my days. It's like now they are beautiful. You take the same 10 guys, you ask them, is this girl ugly? All 9 of them, what are they? The other 9, what are they gonna say? They're gonna say she's still ugly. Yeah, because nothing has changed. The 10th guy, what is he gonna say? He's gonna say no, she's beautiful.
Yeah.
But has the girl changed? No. What's changed? What's changed in the 10th guy that's now making this girl beautiful is the fact that he now loves her. You see?
Yeah.
So now he's blinded to the reality of this girl, that she's actually ugly.
No.
You see?
No.
But that's exactly what's happening.
No. In your experiment, that's what's happening, and that's fair enough. If an experiment like did happen, it wouldn't take away from anything I'm saying, because all I'm saying is that the physical attractiveness is such an important aspect of love, that what love does when you get to know someone that you don't initially find attractive and you get to know them on a deeper level, it actually physically changes the way you see someone.
Okay. Let me go back to one of the questions I asked.
The point I'm saying is that love is not blind to the point where in order for this person that you're starting to fall in love with, in order for love to actually work, to be compatible, it's like, bro, we're gonna have to change the way you see this girl. Because otherwise this won't work. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Love is not blind.
So love turns you blind then?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Because it's making you see what's not there. Bro, we're going to have to change how you see this girl.
Yes.
It's making you blind.
But the thing is, you're still changing how you see the girl. So my point
it's making you blind, because if you don't become that blind, you're not gonna get with that girl from what you're saying.
If your perspective doesn't change.
Exactly.
No, not blind. It's not about being blind.
I think it is. I really, really think it is.
It's not about being blind.
I really
The thing is, if your perspective doesn't change, if the way you're... No, it's not about blindness. Where are you seeing blindness? It's all sight based. It's all attractive based. I don't understand where blindness is coming in.
Okay, let me ask you this question then, right? You've met a person.
I feel like Chisa.
Go on.
Do you wanna jump in?
No, I enjoy it. I see why. It's quite nice.
Okay. All things being equal, you meet a girl, the side is there and everything like that. So I'm gonna go back to the earlier question that I asked. An accident happens, yeah. Half of the face has been burned off. They're like Harvey Dent, Two Face, Harvey Two Face. They've got two faces. Yeah. Now there's cute smile. It's now scary.
What are you laughing?
Because he's made a whole story in his head. And we can't share in that story.
A romance has turned into a horror movie. What does that do to that person's love in your point, basically?
But I think
nothing. It changes.
Exactly.
No.
No, it doesn't.
Why?
It doesn't.
It changes.
Well, the love changes.
changes.
It evolves. Yeah.
Evolves.
To greater love or to smaller love?
To
To lesser love.
greater, different, to a different love.
So you love them
different
A
type of-
good different,
okay.
a bad different.
Let me explain.
Yes,
let
please.
me explain to you. Okay. So your scenario is that, let's say in your eyes, before even love came into the picture, this was the most beautiful person that you'd ever known, right? And everything else fit. Everything was a package.
So basically, yes.
You found them very attractive, right? They get into a horrible accident and they're disfigured, right? They're completely disfigured. Now, I don't disagree that love goes beyond looks, right? Which is why you can form a connection and then it changes the way you see someone, right? So yeah, definitely love it's deeper than skin, right? I get that. But the fact is now this person that you found utterly irresistible is now disfigured. So physically, you may not find them as attractive anymore because they're disfigured, but you still love them, body and soul. So yeah, your love is tested. It's gonna have to evolve. It's gonna have to grow or change or withstand long suffering, whatever. But the fact of the matter is, this person you found irresistible is now disfigured. So you may not be physically attracted to them anymore, but there is more to it than just the physical. So, especially given the time commitment and whatnot and the circumstances as well, because true love will bear that.
So you don't think that can happen then, let's say, with people, let's say the premise of the show, then you don't think that can happen then?
What can happen?
You don't think that you can actually develop a relationship with somebody or fall in love with somebody without seeing them, and then you see them and then they're not exactly what you'd go for, but then transcend, like what you're saying, and still continue and be with this person because the love that you have for them was that genuine, that even though they are not your ideal type according to your eyesight, because it really is just about eyesight. It's like everything else has clicked. It's just the eyesight. It's like, hey, you're not as tall as I would have liked, Hey, your arms are not as big as I would have liked. Or, you don't look like Chris Rock or whatever. I don't know who is a good looking man. So you don't think that can work? Because the reason why I'm saying that love is blind in that context, I believe that can be the case.
And that's why I said there are exceptions. In this conversation, there are going to be exceptions. If you get 1,000 couples and ask about their story and how they met, you'll get 1,000 different stories. And one of those stories might be, we met sight unseen. We saw each other. Granted, I've dated prettier people or I've that kind of thing. But you know what? Actually, the love that we had for each other, we could move past that. And by the end of it, she's the prettiest woman I've ever seen. So I'm not saying love is mysterious. It happens in many different ways. Takes many different forms in how it grows. So I'm agreeing with the both of you that I think all the examples you've both given are honest and true situations.
You're happy with that because you're the woman that killed her baby during the night.
Wow.
I am not happy with that.
But
Okay. Or maybe I'm just a peace-loving person.
Literally. But there is a consensus. The others, like I said earlier, are the exceptions.
Okay.
There's a lot. It's a conversation of a lot of exceptions. So all the scenarios we've given are absolutely possible and are absolutely true. But is there usually a way that it happens, yes. But some of the scenarios you two are giving are the exceptions that sit outside of that. And that doesn't mean that
Fair
those
enough.
people don't
You know,
love each other.
But I feel like I'm giving the normal examples. I did want to go back to one thing you said though, about the blind man. Like I said, the blind man. Like I said, I think that was a very good thought to have. Because he took it literally. Is love blind? Or what about blind people? Then they're not fair enough. Fair enough. But the thing is, even blind people see in their own way, right? So blind people still have a concept of beauty and attractiveness, right? So yes, absolutely, their love and connection is definitely built more on connection and conversation and mentally and so on and whatnot. But when they touch their partner, they still have to think, oh, wow, you're actually quite beautiful.
But how many people would they have to touch in their lifetime to actually come across a
You know,
beauty concept?
you know the
No.
you know the skill
what do you
that
mean?
blind people have. Like mum used to tell me stories. I don't know if she had a blind cousin or something like that. Somebody would walk into, you could sneak into a room and they'd be like, "Pro-Nick, is that you?"
Yeah, of course, but they won't tell me.
No. But
how
they know,
beautiful
they know,
Pro-Nick is.
they know it. No, I'm just giving the example that you've walked in silently, but that blind person, it's not just they know there's a person there. They know
which person.
who it is, who that person that's just walked in is. Whether that's by smell, that's by the sound of the
Presence.
footsteps, just
But that's it,
how you
because-
feel that person's presence.
Because the way someone smells could form part of the image that this person has of you.
Listen,
and therefore
I'm not
form
out
their
here.
attractiveness and their level
I
of...
like the sound of her footsteps.
Yeah,
She's
really,
walking
truly.
towards-
You think
I'm
if, she,
not-
you think
I'm
if she's walking like Mrs. Trunchbull, the blind person is skipping,
I'm
getting the
not
hell out
out
of
here
that
trying
room.
to throw shade on blind people or anything like that. But all I'm trying to say is that as people with sight, you don't have to date a lot of people to have a concept of beauty. Even by just you leaving your house going to work, you are seeing different people on the public transport. You're seeing different people and things like that. You develop what you like, what's attracted to you. Sometimes there are certain people, like for example Beyonce. People have always said Beyonce is so beautiful and stuff like that. Like, oh, she's so attractive. Oh, I would marry her. I'm just like, no, for me, it's just not. I'm just like,
My guy, we're trying to take off. I don't know why.
Oh.
We're trying to.
I've always had the same thought about
I
Beyonce.
know.
I've
You know?
never
I
understood
think
it.
a lot of people do, but when
I mean, I see it. I see
Yeah,
it. I just don't think
eventually I
she's...
started
I just
seeing
don't think she's... No, she's pretty. I just don't think she's the goddess that everyone makes her out to be.
Exactly,
As in,
you
she's
see?
like the pinnacle of beauty.
yeah. But anyway, my point is that anyway, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that it's not like I'm throwing shade on blind people, but that's why that was a point, because
say what?
a blind person will go out to the streets, but they ain't seeing nothing. They ain't seeing nobody.
No,
that's why
So
they're
their
blind.
concept of beauty.
The issue is you're taking people with sight eyes and copy and paste in the blind world. What I'm saying is that they have...
because
Taking people with what?
No. I
want the phrase
he's...
you use.
I can't remember.
Taking
I can't
people
remember
with
what I
sight
just
eyes.
said. No. The point I'm making is that blind people have their own concept of attractiveness and beauty, which is different to sight people. So, for example,
Yeah, but and the discussion
I'm not
right
blind,
now.
so I don't know. But let's say, for example, their attractiveness is based on tone of voice and smell. That would still be a basis on which they form what's attractive and what's not attractive. Who's attractive, who's not attractive.
Which is fair enough, but remember, we're talking about, is sight important? Yeah.
No.
So we're talking about physical appearance of the person.
No. But if you're blind, that's the closest thing to physical you're getting.
But we're still discussing. Okay, so for example, if going back to the premise of the show, let's say one of those people in those cubicles in the other side is a blind person.
Then they wouldn't need the
Right?
cubicle.
But the other person doesn't know. Okay,
The other,
go on.
yeah, the other person doesn't know. Yeah. Yeah. So for them, they are trying to form it. They're talking like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess for them, they've already had the voice and stuff like that. Remove the curtain, they ain't seeing nothing. You see what I mean?
No. But their profile of this person is gonna build more because now they're in close proximity.
But they can't see anything.
But they can still smell them. They can still touch them. They can still hear the way they move, the way they carry themselves. This is what I'm saying. What are you failing to understand? All I'm saying is, and please, I would really love a blind person to really back me up on this. or if I'm right, obviously. All I'm saying is that they have their own profile and concept of attractiveness and beauty.
Which I accept. And all I'm saying is that the fact that blind people can still fall in love regardless of the sight
Because-
that we have, yeah, because of their own language that they have, I guess, from what you're saying,
Yeah.
My point is to say that therefore it should be possible for us as well, to be able to connect with people and fall in love with people without the sight, yeah. But I am agreeing with you in the sense that personally, I don't think that. No, rather, I do believe that physical appearance is important, attraction is important, but all I'm saying is what you gave us about the transcension of love once someone is disfigured due to an accident. I also believe that that's possible even at the beginning. I believe you can fall in love with somebody. Let's say you've met online and you're talking back and forth. Let's say it's been months, it's been years, and then eventually you see them and they're a little shorter than you'd have liked. I feel like that connection that you formed, if it is genuine love connection, if you've actually loved that person, I feel like that will transcend the looks of that person. That's the point I'm trying to make. So in that context, context, that's what I'm saying, that yes, love is blind in that context, in the sense that as long as it is the pure, genuine love, I feel like you can move past that. You can be like, you know what? You're not as beautiful. You're not as beautiful as I would have liked. But it's almost like it's too late. It's almost like they've trapped you. At that point, it's like it's too late to walk away because you're so in love with this person that you're like, oh, damn it, why do you look like that?
Here's where we differ. Right? I don't think you can get to that true love blindly. So
maybe that, yeah.
I'll
accept that.
So let's say you're talking online or whatever. Yes, you can say you love them, whatever. But which is why when you meet them, it's like, oh, really as tall as I would have liked. If you're in love with someone, that thought is never going to cross your mind.
I do agree with that.
So
I do agree with that.
The thing is,
I retract that. That thought won't cross your mind. Yes.
I don't think you can get to a point of true, unfiltered love without sight.
I believe you can.
Before you've seen them, before you've actually been in their presence, enjoyed their presence, the aura, the atmosphere, and everything. And you can say you can, but no. You may get to a certain point, maybe, but no.
I believe you can. I believe you can. I believe at that point, meeting them in person only heightens everything.
Or destroys everything. Because
I believe if it destroys everything, it was never love in the first place.
Yeah, which is what I'm saying.
You see?
Anyway, okay, look.
So in that way, I do agree. But I feel like if it is true love,
there we have. So Pro Nick is on the plan that yes, love can be blind.
In that context,
love can be blind in his given context. Fatsani?
I don't think love is blind, but it doesn't mean there aren't exceptions.
Fair enough. That's a good middle ground. I'm saying love is definitely not blind. Love is not blind.
No exceptions for you.
Well, I mean, if you okay, in your head, give me an exceptional circumstance.
No, where people do meet sight unseen and
fall in love.
But in what context does someone meet sight unseen?
Like, for example, the Love is Blind.
I mean, because that doesn't work. We know, because 5 seasons is what, like 3 couples are still together.
Well, but they're
that's the exception.
No. But that's what I'm saying. So that experiment as in itself doesn't work. Listen, if you get enough people in the world, you're gonna find people who are compatible.
Yeah, but that's the exception.
No,
they're compatible, yes, but they still met. You can't deny the fact that they met sight unseen.
But did they find each other attractive when they saw each other? Yes, that's my point.
No, but they fell in love without seeing each other.
I'm saying they didn't. I'm saying their love grew after they met each other.
So formed. They did fall in love.
Their love formed after they met each other and got to know each other a bit more. That's what I'm saying.
But that's exactly what they were doing in the cubicle, getting to know each other.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is they get to know each other in the cubicles. Yes, they met each other. Oh, you're a bit of me. I like you. You like me. Whatever. And then they got to know each other. And that's when their love started to blossom and grow and grow and grow, and finally they were in love. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The events went. They were in the cubicles. They fell in love with each other, and then they met each other. Oh my God, we're so in love. No, that didn't happen.
Okay.
But anyway, ladies and gents, so we'll be very interested to know what you think. Is love blind? First, in the context of it allows people not to see other people's faults, or are you with us in that's not really love, that's more infatuation, love, passion, etc. And secondly, is love blind physically in that you don't actually need to see someone or be physically attracted to someone to fall in love. It can happen sight unseen. And once that does happen, the love is already there. I'm saying that's not possible. It is possible in that you cannot find someone attractive and love causes you to find them attractive. Pronik is saying, no, it can happen. Fatsani is saying, not generally, but there are exceptions. I like this. Three different positions.
Yes.
I like this. So, are you Team Chin, Team Fatsani, or Team Pronik? You let us know.
I'm offering a reward for you, Almighty.
Okay, cool. So we're gonna just before we close.
I'll come to your team.
You get 10 points. I'll give you my points.
That's another thing. So just before we go to Pronik's good news, I just want to know I have come up with a point system.
Okay.
I'm gonna warn you, it's very unfair.
I thought you were going to say it's very brutal.
You win every week.
No. It's just the points are my discretion. But I'll give you a few categories, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you say something that profoundly flaws me, you get points for it.
In a good or a bad way.
Huh?
Flows in a good or
Either. If you say something incredibly stupid, you lose points.
I think you should award points as well. Like,
No.
how can you say
Whose
something so dumb?
discretion is
No.
this sad?
He's
Mine.
Oh, wow.
That's why it's incredibly unfair. So something profound, whether good or bad, I award points. Something stupid, I take away points. And anything I felt was a worthwhile contribution to the pod, I'll give you points. Okay. Yes. So it's at my discretion. I'm gonna keep a tally, keep points tally. At the end of every season, we'll find out the winner, and we'll see. There'll be a special prize for whoever has the most points. And I can give myself points as well. By the way. I can give myself points, and also, actually,
yeah, we're winning this game.
He wins every season.
No. To be fair, I was like, okay, you know what? Let me give power to the sorry people.
Wow.
As well,
What
right?
is that us?
That's you too.
What? I had to clarify.
Sorry.
So I was like, okay, fine. So obviously, I can give as many points as I want throughout the episode, depending on what's being said or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You two, you can give points only once during an episode
To who?
for any reason, to anyone you want.
How many
Including
Besides
points?
yourself.
Oh.
Besides
How many
yourself.
points?
Huh?
How many points?
As many as you want.
Maximum of 1,000.
What, per episode?
No. As in per one allocation. So you can give someone 500 points, 400 points,
Wow.
I
Why
can
are we dealing in such big numbers?
because it's better that way.
Oi.
And with 5 million points,
My points are unlimited, so I could be like, oh, you know, that's so profound.
So
I'll
in
give
one
you
episode,
50,000 points.
I can give points once.
Yeah.
So if I can give, so we have a maximum of 1,000.
Yeah.
So I can be like, oh, so if I say 300 points for that, that was quite good. Well done. That's it. I can't give no more points for that episode.
Yeah. Pretty much. So same with you.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. Fine.
can you take away points from your phone?
Yeah, do you have the power to take away points?
You can put in an application. You can say, I would like to take so and so
I
points
would like to
from
apply
Pronik.
to take points
for these reasons. And if you convince me, I will not only take your points away, I will match it. So if you say 300, I'll take away 600 points.
Wow.
Okay.
You know what? Just for the record, I'm just doing this points thing for fun because I know I'm not gonna win. I know every week I'll be losing points.
Okay, no, to be fair, I would have given you points for the whole blind person thing because I didn't think of it. That was pretty neat.
So how many points
That
did
was
you get?
No. I've just established the points.
Wow.
We'll start from next week. Okay, dog. Pronik, take us out with some good news.
Great news actually. I have for this week. Great news, honestly, for those that care. So, and again, it ties in with one of our conversations that we had regarding, I think you guys might have come across it actually once I mentioned this, regarding at what point should the whole crime thing episode that we had. Apparently, after 27 years, do you know what's happened this week?
What?
They found the killer
Oh,
of
the
Tupac Shakur.
Tupac
Isn't that
person.
the best news you've ever had? I mean, I know Tupac is like a big symbol in the music industry. I don't know too much about him except that he's black and his song changes and stuff like that. You know, and dated Jada Smith at some point apparently. You know, obviously Will Smith made the news again because she went out and said something.
Yeah.
So people were like, yeah, you should slap her
Wow.
for saying that rubbish.
Wow.
But I just thought to myself that for people that care, you know, that's gotta be good news. Justice. Because, you know, whether someone is a criminal or not, you know, whether you agree with them or not, I feel like taking someone's life, you know, like that, it's gotta be wrong, right?
So did you actually follow up the story? Did you actually read? Because I saw the headline. I don't actually know the details. First and foremost, how did they find him? Because it's a very long time.
That's the thing.
How did they find
They
him?
had a search warrant for somebody's house that was a suspect.
Yep. And
they
apparently,
found
Or of something else, or of Tupac's death?
I think of Tupac's death.
Because why are they still investigating 27
like I
years
said, he
on?
was a very important man. People needed to know.
I'm not saying he's still got a family that need closure.
Exactly.
Fair enough. I'm just thinking, well, as far as cold cases go,
It must be
it's
frozen,
very... No, not frozen. It's just if I was in the police department, it wouldn't be on top of my list. Is all
No,
I'm
but
saying.
as far as cold cases go, if you're in the police department, that would be on top of you.
Why?
Because of who he was.
Yeah, criminal.
Yeah, fair enough, but criminal or not.
No, I'm not saying justice isn't deserved. I'm just saying that there are cold cases of people like dead children and stuff like that.
Yeah, but if
I'll
you're
put
not
resources towards
if
that.
you're not Tupac,
If
you're
you're not
forgotten.
Yeah, well,
That's just how society works. Hierarchy
Unfortunately.
matters.
Oh, okay, so they were actually investigating the death of Tupac.
I don't know.
So they actually found. Okay, you did you read up on the story?
No,
How did
Job
they
is to
find
deliver
him?
good news.
to do background research.
Yeah, but
really?
no, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they basically raided the guy's house, and apparently he actually had, is it records or something like that? Like actually things tying him to the murder. Apparently, someone was like, "Yeah, they knew about this guy a long time ago." I guess his time was just up. His contract with the devil was finished, so they came and nabbed him. But yeah, so it seems legit. It seems like he was actually the one. So it seems like people can actually get closure. I guess the mystery of who killed Tupac is coming to a close. So
Well, I mean, the mystery was that we didn't know if Tupac was still alive. No, that's the real mystery. People would say Tupac wasn't actually.
well,
killed,
now
he's
that
still
someone
alive.
has been charged, I guess we know that he's not alive.
Or wasn't he spotted in 2012 or something?
Doing what?
I don't know. I think they were spotted somewhere.
Riding a border.
See, when the internet gets bored, I feel like it just looks around. What can we do? Tupac spotted in town center.
Yeah, fair enough. Listen, yes, it is a cold case as it goes back, but like him or hate him, Tupac is a godfather of rap, hip hop, and whatnot. And to be fair, besides Changes, I love that song to bits. Besides Changes, when you listen to his other songs, you can see that he was definitely
Ahead of his time.
he was more than just a
thug.
he was
Because he was like
No,
one of the videos that came out was him beating the cousin of the alleged killer. Actually, literally kicking him. Must have broken off in some stuff. He was a thug. He was a thug.
Oh, but he definitely had a message. He had a voice.
Yes.
He had something that he wanted to
He was
say.
a messenger.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think if he had lived, I think some great stuff would have come from him.
He would have been a Michael Jackson.
Yeah. But yeah, listen, that is good news. That is good news. Despite my reaction to it, that is very good news.
Hi everyone, thank you very much for joining us here at Offbeat POV. I hope you are enjoying the conversation so far. Please don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe, and also drop a comment in the comment box. Let us know what you think.
We didn't ask what the Bible says about love, but I think that's because everybody knows what verse people are gonna go to. Fatsani quoted a little bit, but of course it's 1 Corinthians 13, which talks about love, and it lists all the attributes of love. Which
And one of them was not blind.
which of course, like Fatsani said, shows how love is a doing word. I like how the way she put it. You said that when you say I love you, it's not just lip service. You're actually saying you do these things. So if it's true love, this should be true. So I guess to end then, we'll just end with the verse. It's 1 Corinthians 13, verse 4. which
Out
says,
here making us feel like we're at church or something.
love is patient.
Love is kind.
Love is blind.
No, love is patient, love is kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way.